And hey, everybody, welcome to Squash Talk. I'm Pat. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks for being here. Let's talk about where Bigfoot is not. Everybody always wants to focus on where's Bigfoot, but to be able to focus on where Bigfoot is, it'd be great to start ruling some things out. And this is a show I've been wanting to do for a while. It's probably been swimming around in my head for a couple of months. And so I think it's something important to talk about and have real discussions about is, where they are, where they aren't, because then you kind of start getting into, well, why are people saying they're there if it's if it's any kind of reasonable conclusion that you can come to based on a lot of different factors, but some very important ones that are easy to kind of point out. It's like they can't be here, right? Downtown Chicago, no Bigfoot reports, and so they're not there. Okay, that's kind of low hanging fruit. I get that, but I think it's something worth discussing, and it might be a little controversial. It doesn't matter. Anybody that's open to the discussion is welcome, because I'm wanting to touch on some real cherished sort of areas. Not Bluff Creek, not the Pacific Northwest, but some other places where it's become sort of a very cherished thing that Bigfoot, or now Dogman, so that's a whole nother kind of issue there, is becoming popularized places. And so I kind of picked one. I picked a really good place to start. This is something I would like to, continue doing and go into different parts of the country where, there's all these claims of Bigfoot, but kind of challenge that and say, if they're undiscovered hominin, they really can't be there. So yeah, I've picked a good starter, and I'll go ahead and pull that up. It's become a very cherished place for some reason, and I think it's a little silly, actually. But it's becoming more popular with the Dogman narrative than the Bigfoot thing. So I kind of might be throwing some people off here with this, but we'll get to that too. It's definitely a Bigfoot place, though. People, say Bigfoot are here, and I just don't see it. And it's this place. The Land Between the Lakes, which is this sort of peninsula, if you will. Located in Kentucky and goes down into Tennessee. 170,000 acres, give or take a few thousand. It's protected land, it's federal land, and it's a lot of wilderness, but with a lot of roads that give you a lot of access to the entire area. And this is, definitely a sort of Bigfoot is here kind of narrative is wrapped around this place. And now again, the Dogman thing is maybe even like Land Between the Lakes, because of the fictional story about the a family that was killed there that never happened. It's all fiction. It's completely made up. Um, and that by Dogman. And so Dogman's there, and fictional channels like Hellbent Holler do all kinds of trips to Land Between the Lakes, talking about Dogman. Not so much Bigfoot. But yeah, this is definitely like a prime example of there's no way there's an undiscovered hominin running around this peninsula, if you will. I don't really, I mean, by definition, maybe because it's surrounded by water. Um, but that's a factor. The factor of it being surrounded by water and development that's along the water line, like pretty much all around it. I say there's no way a Bigfoot is there. And there's no avenue for a Bigfoot to even get in and out of there the way I see it. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Is this let's look at the entire geography surrounding the area and try and figure out, like, is this really possible? And then there's always the aspect of, well, if so many people are seeing Bigfoot there, well, then it kind of really starts leaning towards, like, not proof, at least if that anecdote is true, then I don't know, they must be supernatural. Sort of like the Long Island thing. Again, like, I'm not going to go after low hanging fruit. I think this is a good, fair starting point to kind of hash out where they can't be. And in my mind, and you could change my mind, you could try and change my mind. I'd love to have this discussion. I'm going to have some people on. This is a show I want to do, and I really want to start with this area. But in my mind, Bigfoot cannot be on this peninsula. If it's flesh and blood, it just can't be there. There's no good path in and out, and they would be trapped. They would just be trapped. So I'll use this as a sort of a launching pad for bigger discussion, because there are other areas that are very cherished that I would like to talk about as well. But anybody that wants to talk about this area, Land Between the Lakes, again, a very cherished place, I'm willing to have that discussion with anybody, and then broaden the discussion beyond that to other places. Because there's a lot of anecdote, and there's some really compelling anecdote, but at some point you got to ask yourself, why do people, why are people claiming to encounter Bigfoot, or they think Bigfoot's around in areas that, like the UK, Australia, Long Island, so what's that? Is, that starts to creep into, well, not all the anecdote is perfect. Not all the anecdote is true. And there's no one encounter that explains everything. No one encounter story has the answer to everything. The anecdote is nothing but a body of anecdote, which in North America is huge body of anecdote that has a flashing neon green sign pointing towards something, something, whatever they are. Um, that's all the anecdote does. So I want to know why people think they're seeing Bigfoot in an area that I know an undiscovered hominin just can't be in. Not in today's world. Not saying that maybe they couldn't set foot there 50 years ago. Maybe they could have. Maybe even 30 years ago. Maybe. I don't know. Again, that's a discussion to be had, but not in 2023. There's not a single Bigfoot in that area that you see. Yet people will go there looking for them. And of course, Dogman. But again, that's all fiction. Channels like Hellbent Holler, that's just fictional stuff anyway. That's entertainment purposes only. You know, it's those are fictional channels. So we're gonna ignore the ridiculous, rhetoric surrounding any kind of dogman presence there. But can a Bigfoot be there? I say no. So what say you? We'll find out in chat, and whatever guests that kind of maybe want to take the bait on this. I got a few people on the hook, and so we'll see. But yeah, I'd like to do a show or two about this and areas like this, and kind of start getting into the minutia of, but can they really be there? Because I think that's an important discussion to have at this time. So that's what I got for now. That's the show coming down the pike. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see what happens. See you later.